What's good, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. First of all, a huge shout out to each and every single person who supported me in the first video on this particular channel. I've heard that it has been spread through a lot of WhatsApp groups and social media pages, and I have received nothing but an overwhelming positive response for that. So please check out that first video. It's linked down in the description. Now this video is going to be slightly different. It's going to be a heart-to-heart talk about certain mental health issues, specifically fear, anxiety, uncertainty leading up to your final exam. Now first of all, a very quick update. There are rumors going around that NEET may be postponed, but the HRD minister has come out and said that there's no change in the fixed date for NEET according to the recent sources. So NEET will happen on the 26th of July this year. So please do not be under the assumption that it has been postponed. So having said that, today we are going to address the topic of fear. Now this fear is something that you may experience just a few days prior to the exam. It's the fear of uncertainty, the fear of certain expectations, fear of the results, fear whether your effort is worth it. So we'll be addressing all these kinds of issues in this video. So let's get on with today's video. My definition of fear is in fact an acronym: false expectations appearing real. Fear basically stems out of some sort of an uncertainty, and this time it stands for the fear of competition. As an Indian teenager, you're subject to so many competitions in life. It seems that society itself is competing and you are somehow put into that particular competition. And NEET UG is one of those few competitions out there that everyone thinks is a life-defining moment. So how do you deal with this particular kind of fear? But before we get into how to deal with such fears, I think it is very important to understand how we can categorize those fears. Because I don't think that the fear is single-pointed. It is divided into many different aspects, and it is very important that we understand what kind of fear we are going through so that we can solve it and move forward. You are essentially thrown into a big sea with lakhs of students who are competing for a handful of government seats. And what do we want? We want the merit government seats most of the time. So when there's such a huge amount of competition, a huge demand for a handful of seats, there's bound to be a lot of fear and anxiety that goes with it. But all these fears, I think, can be classified into basically three types. The first fear that we are going to tackle is the fear of preparedness. Now, because the syllabus of this exam is not fixed, the National Testing Agency doesn't tell you what is the exact syllabus, and no coaching institution will ever claim to know the complete syllabus of the exam. So you don't know what you don't even know, and you don't know what you have prepared for, whether you'll be able to recollect that in the final exam or not. This is basically a fear of preparedness. What you have done for the past 2 years, is it enough or not? Should I delve into a difficult topic more often, or whether I should go venture out into new areas? So this is basically a fear of the unknown syllabus. What are the questions that you may not be able to answer in the given exam? Now, physics and chemistry is conceptual, right? Once you grab hold of the concept, you can answer any question. A lot of times I've seen that toppers have got close to the full marks in the physics and chemistry. But biology, which is completely factual based, even though you may have prepared 100%, but because the syllabus is not fixed, a few questions even the topper may not be able to answer. So it is no use dwelling on the fact what you don't know. It is better, in my humble opinion, to perfect what you know. And if you want to know how to consolidate everything that you have studied in the last 2 years, I have already addressed that in my first video, which will be linked down in the description just for you guys. So this was the first kind of fear, the fear of preparedness. And the action step that you can take to get rid of this fear is revising what you already know, forgetting about the fact that there are some questions that you will simply not be able to answer because the nature of the paper is in that way. Now, the second fear that we are going to deal with is the fear of competition. You simply don't know how many students are going to answer that particular exam in the given year, which in this case happens to be 2020. Lakhs of students out there, and you don't know who has taken how many years of drop to prepare for this exam. It is a very valid argument to make that a lot of people have had more time than you to prepare for this exam. A lot of the times people take drop for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years to prepare for NEET UG and to crack it. But let me tell you one thing over here. In this preparation, in this competitive exam environment, the quality of hours that you put into your study and what you study in those quality hours matters much more than the quantity. In fact, I had lots of friends who had cracked NEET UG in the first attempt itself, simply because they paid attention to the quality of their study and not the quantity. Again, this fear comes from the fear of the unknown. It comes from a factor which is simply not in your hands. You cannot control the number of people who are answering the exam. You cannot control the number of droppers who are going to answer the exam, and you cannot assess the number of people that will do better than you. So this fear is totally valid, but the solution to this fear is taking into control what you in fact can control and can influence, which is your preparation, and putting quality number of hours into your preparation. Doing your physics, biology, chemistry without the presence of any kind of fears about the competition out there. I believe one of the advantages that I had in preparing for the NEET UG exam sitting here in Goa was that I did not have a huge picture of what is the actual competition at the all India level. Because being in Goa, you know each and every single person who will potentially answer the exam, who will potentially get a seat in the only medical college here in Goa, which is Goa Medical College. But I totally empathize with the people in the other states who simply don't know about the vast amount of people who are just going to answer the exam. So yes, I think I do lack a certain amount of perspective over here. So the only advice that I can give over here is that take charge of the things that you can adequately control right now. You cannot take control of the droppers or number of people who will answer the exam in a particular state. If you're trying for a state government medical college, do the things that you can control, and at this point it appears to be your preparation. The third fear that we're going to tackle today is in fact the fear of the result. Now Anirudh, you told me to get rid of all these fears and be brave in confronting them. Fine, I understand about the fear of the unknown syllabus, the fear about the unknown competition, but what about the third fear, which is whether my marks or the score or the rank that I get be enough to get me a medical seat. Now this is something that I cannot guarantee, and anyone who is guaranteeing you that getting a certain score will get you a certain rank is simply talking in the wind, because this is something that changes from year to year, and a lot of time this depends on the luck, the number of people answering, the number of people who are above you, your mindset on the day of the exam, the way the questions that are framed. So it depends a lot on the luck and things that you simply cannot control again. Now I totally understand the premise of this particular fear, because at the end of the day, you want your preparation of the last 2 years to be completely valuable and give you a medical seat. A lot of times when I speak to NEET UG aspirants, they are still not sure whether they want to go into engineering or medical if they don't get the proper rank in the exam that they are answering. But all of this is the post-exam analysis, right? Why burden yourself with everything that is post-exam? Let us focus on the things that we can control, and I keep on emphasizing this fact that you need to focus on the things that you can truly control, which is answering your NEET exam with your complete 100% and believing in your preparation. Now, if you notice, a common theme among all these fears is the fear of the unknown. And this is not different. Fear is again false expectations appearing real. It is about the unknown that we fear in life. And this is simply a reflection of the things that are unknown. Now, if you've been following Jordan Peterson, who is a Canadian psychologist at the University of Toronto, you know that he says that the way we get people off their fears is not by making them fearless, but by voluntarily subjecting them to the things that they fear in tiny amounts. We don't make a person fearless from their fears. What we do is we make them face those fears and make them much more braver in the face of that particular fear. So it is not about being totally fearless in this particular point. It is about being brave. So I like to leave you here with a simple actionable step that you can take every time this kind of fears props up in your mind. So next time whenever this fear comes in your mind, just think, just be calm and think whether this is a particular thing that I can take control of, whether this particular fear of preparedness or competition or a potential medical seat, is it contributing anything to my mental clarity and my mental space? If not, go back to the thing that you can control. And of course, this is a tough battle that you have to fight out with yourself, because again, this is all happening in your mind. You simply cannot throw the object of fear out of the window or something like that, because you have to deal with your own emotions at the end of the day. I can only be a facilitator and get you to think about these three things that I have just told you about. And I hope that you have understood why this particular fear is there in every, and I trust me, this is there in every single NEET UG aspirant, because again, it is the fear of the unknown that grapples all of us. So that's it guys for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to leave a thumbs up button, comment in the comment section below what exactly your fears are and what you will do to overcome them. As I said, one of the perspectives is to become brave in the face of fear. And of course, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and share this video as wide as possible. I'll be uploading more video on NEET UG guys, so be sure to hit the bell notification icon, and I'll see you guys in the next one.